Welcome back to the morning show here on Arise News. Women entrepreneurs often start businesses using less capital than men due to limitations in income and reserves, as well as lack of knowledge about the availability of institutional funding. They are less likely to use bank loans to fund the commencement of operations and more likely to borrow from family and friends and other non-institutional lenders. This manifests in the relatively smaller sizes of the businesses that they run. Joining us now to speak on how female entrepreneurs can increase access to finance is author of Accessing Grants for Startups, Ife Durosinmi Etti. Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you for
Let's start off with what sparked your interest in startup financing? Because a lot of people have acquired this knowledge over the years with the scars to prove it, but they didn't share. What made you decide to share and put pen to paper?
To be honest, I had my own business first, so I just said, you know what, let me try to apply for grants. My dad told me about the Tony Entrepreneurship Program, so I applied for that, and I just knew at the top of my head, I said, you know what, if you apply for this thing, you'd get it. So I applied for it, and then we got it, and from there, different people started asking me, oh, how did you get access to this opportunity? And I got another grant as well from Variant Advisory. So different people started asking me. So I first wanted to do a video just explaining to people how, they could apply for these things, and these opportunities are available to all Africans. And, from a video, I called the videographer. She came to my house, and then we started talking about it. And she said, you know what, Ife, I would also want this in a book. And, I was like, no, I don't think I know anything about writing a book. But she convinced me, so I went back, did some research, and I just put pen to paper, and that's how the book came about. And, since I launched it last year, and at least over, I think, 3,000 people have ordered the book, and I have, loads of testimonies from people who probably didn't know that even grants, they didn't even know about grants to even start with. And some people actually used it as a workbook to actually access grants globally.
Fantastic. So what type of grants are available to people? I mean, you mentioned the Tony Elumelu grant. There are of the Tony Elumelu grant. Tell us other grants available locally and internationally, especially for people that are starting businesses, because that's the beautiful thing about the Tony Elumelu grant, is that it's for people, you don't have to have already had a business. No, you don't have. Even this, they fund ideas as well. There are other people, there is even the United Nations, there are also competitions. Funding Space is a program that held recently where they try to introduce entrepreneurs to investors in the same space. There are different individuals that also give out grants. I've also started a platform called the AGS Tribe where we give out grants to female-led businesses, so that's our own focus. There are also other people, the U.S. government, the British government, different programs that they run. The Dutch Ministry of Foreign Affairs also runs some. But I think you just need to have your ears on the ground. Also, the American government, they have a program called Mandela Washington Fellowship where you get into the program, and then once you're in the program and the alumni network, then you can also apply for a grant if you're a part of the fellows. So sometimes you have to also join communities, and that's another thing where entrepreneurs don't really know about. They just think, okay, how did this girl hear about this opportunity? How did she get to the White House? How did she get to, maybe how did she become a Queen Elizabeth young leader? So those programs, those communities, they provide platforms where you can get funding and also access to other global opportunities.
Information truly is key, because there's a lot going on and you just don't know.
Yes.
Let's talk about the banking sector. I mean, I read this address by Akinwumi Adesina, President of African Development Bank, and he was talking about how societal beliefs and limitations affect women, but that the bank counter is where dreams actually die. So yes, because women just don't have the collateral, they don't have the resources. How do women navigate that space?
To be honest, there are organizations that are coming up now that tell you, okay, you don't need to even have collateral to access, these opportunities, even loans as well. I know FCMB, they started one recently. I think you can get up to 5 million naira. Also, the Lagos State Employment Trust Fund also has one that you can access up to 5 million naira, and I'm also one of the beneficiaries. But I think women just need to be bold. I think it gets very scary when, maybe you need like 100 million naira. Women don't know how to say, oh, I need 100 million naira, I need 300 million naira to run or scale my business. So I think it first starts with the mind. Once you can, pass that hurdle of, okay, my business can actually pay this thing back over a certain number of years. And then, once you have that, then it's easier for you to navigate some of those challenges you get when you actually get to the bank counter.
When you go out, I mean, I know you do speaking engagements and you engage with women. When you go out, what do you find is blocking people from accessing these grants? Is it the application process itself?
First, I think is mindset, like I said earlier. A lot of people believe that, oh, for me to get this grant, I must know somebody, or I'm not going to get it. So first, I think is the mindset. Second is also the application process. I always advise people, when you are doing all these applications, you need to first respond on Microsoft Word and then give somebody to review for you, maybe somebody who has gotten that particular application, because there's a science to these things. A lot of people are very, very good at applications, and a lot of people aren't. So once you know, and that's why I wrote this book and said, you know what, this is how, you know, you can write it. These are the kind of things that they want to hear.
These are buzzwords.
Buzzwords, you know, when you talk about sustainable development goals, it looks like you've done some research, but also you have to also do research. Don't just, you know, apply like that. So yeah, just do research, explore. You know, and then, you know, those things they will come to you. You wouldn't get everything, because obviously it also takes a lot of time to, like, you know, put your thoughts to paper and everything. But once you start, you know, it just keeps coming.
Sorry, just following up on that. One of the things you said is really tapping into people that have already done this. So Y Combinator is a startup accelerator in the U.S. And quite a number of Nigerian companies have gone through it, and I think there's a new cycle now. And what I'm seeing that's different is people are saying, if you're applying, I've seen this now on social media, saying, if you're applying for the next cycle of Y Combinator, let me know so I can help you with the application. Is this a new trend we're seeing from, like, this sort of community support? Because it was on Twitter, so it wasn't like I knew you and said, oh, let me help you. It was saying, I can help anyone.
Yes, I think there's a new buzz for people trying to help. Before, what used to happen was, you know, when I used to go to different places, I would see the same faces. I'm like, oh, hi, okay, we're here again. You know? So now I think people are seeing that, you know, you cannot really do everything. You cannot go for all the events. You cannot go to all the speaking engagements. You cannot access all the opportunities. And even because I was one of the people who shortlisted for the Documentary of Foreign Affairs program, for One Young World, the sponsoring people to go for the One Young World. And one of the criteria that they gave me was that they didn't want people who had had access to those kind of opportunities before. So now people are starting to realize that this thing is almost like a, I don't want to say scam, or people are just using it to, like, flex and stuff like that. They want real people who haven't gotten access to these opportunities and stuff. So I think little by little, more people understand that they need to help other people. Some people charge for it because sometimes it gets overwhelming. When I first started it, I used to do it, you know, I would just say, okay, you know what, come. For the Tonelu one, I coached over 1,000 people. I had, like, a live video where I started teaching people, okay, these are some of the kind of ways that you can respond to these questions. So, yeah, that community support is coming up, and I'm excited about it.
But you're still coaching, aren't you? Because you have this pitch competition. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, well, I started it last year. So at this launch of this book, I started the AGS Enterprise Challenge, which is like a pitch competition for female-led businesses. So it's pretty much to also shine the light on women and give them funding. So even for the women who don't actually get funded by us, other people or other investors can see them online, because it's an online competition. And then we shortlist them and then bring them to the grand finale, where they can now pitch to us and other investors. So a lot of female entrepreneurs, before, they didn't really understand the process or the idea of pitching. So I started having, like, master classes and different programs to help them, you know, come up with their unique selling proposition, understand how, you know, an elevator pitch should be. If they see somebody like Bill Gates, for example, how are you going to sell your product to him? So yeah, the information is getting, you know, better. You don't have to probably have an MBA to go into business, and more people are getting onto it now.
But now tell us about your business, because where did you cut your teeth? Paliamo Bambini, tell us about that. How did that come about?
Okay, so I had my daughter in London. So the usual thing that people do is, when you have your baby, you just buy all what you need, you know, from the crib to the chest changers to the clothes and all that. So I had her in London, brought the furniture back to Nigeria, and it was so expensive to even ship it in, which I was like, okay, this is probably what every other person is suffering. But when it got to Nigeria, I was told that furniture was contraband, and there was I had to pay, like, almost the same price as the item. And I'm like, why do people have to go through this stress of ordering the furniture, shipping it down to Nigeria, and then having to pay extra to customs to clear it? Obviously, some things are going on. You know, some people have to do some other things to get your stuff out. I actually know some clients who have actually left their stuff in customs and come to order from us because they were charging them more than their actual items. So we just said, you know what, my partner and I were like, okay, let's see how we can start making these things locally. So what we did was we reverse engineered some of the stuff I had gotten, and we just started, you know, selling it. Different people started coming to meet us, and then from one customer, we didn't even think it was something that could actually grow, because I was working at the time. I was still with Nigerian Breweries, and I still worked there 3 years till I left to focus on my business is full-time. So that's how we started pretty much. From one customer, I grew to 2 to 10 to 100, and we've been growing since then.
So tell people a little bit more about, so you've told us what sort of motivated to do it, but tell us like what it is actually, like what you guys make.
Okay, so we make baby cribs, to chest changers, to wardrobes, to rocking chairs, ottomans, and we do all of them in Nigeria, although it's very, very difficult to navigate those kind of things in Nigeria. We've had a tough time. You know, power is an issue, security is an issue, you know, safety is also an issue. You know, the artisans, you tell them, okay, you need to wear your gloves all the time when you're making furniture, and then when you're not there, they don't wear it, you know. So the mindset also with the artisans is also something you have to deal with. So it's been very, very tough. I think we just have to keep pushing and, you know, try to find a way around it to make sure that our furniture can actually meet, you know, global standards.
Oh, but they do.
Yeah.
Yeah, some of your furniture has pride of place in my sister's, my nephew's nursery. Yeah. Beautiful, very well made.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
And so with your factories that make these furnitures, are you able to source stuff locally, or you have to import things?
We source everything locally.
Everything is sourced
from the
locally.
paint to the wood to everything, the joints. Yeah, we do everything here.
Wow. So, I mean, thank you so much. I'm just so excited about all the knowledge in this book. So where can people get the book?
You can get it online on agstribe.org or ifedurosinmietti.com or on Amazon. You can get it in stores in Lagos.
Thank you.
Sounds like something everyone needs to get there.
Yes, financial literacy is key, and you need to know the options available.
Yes. I actually have about 30 opportunities that I listed in the book, and, you know, the websites are there. Those are the ones that most of the time they come up every year. And then I have this the community where I now post up new opportunities, which is AGS Tribe.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for
Thank
being
you so
here.
much
It's a
for having
pleasure to
me.
have you.